Hello viewers, welcome to our channel. This is Nelly's channel where we bring you history and news analysis to enlighten you to be able to make good use of your brain and not be brainwashed by all the lies and propaganda going about and all the manipulations that follow them. So we help people, we make people here to make good use of their own brains, okay, and reason like a normal human being. So we do that through news analysis, enlightenment, history. And today, as part of our mandate, we are going to be bringing you update on the court sitting, the illegal trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Today is the 28th day of May 2025 and a Wednesday. All right. Recall that in the previous court sitting, the trial judge, Justice James Omotosho, had allowed people to come into the courtroom and make use of their mobile phones. So that's why you can see people here, like you can see my mouse, using their mobile phones inside the courtroom, because the court sitting before the last, the DSS really played a drama there, stopping people from making use of their phones around the court premises. So things changed since last court sitting. And today we are going to be giving you the update that filtered over to us and present on our news desk. So in today's court sitting, the sitting started at 9 a.m. in the case between the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So to start with, the prosecution announced appearance, and the prosecution in this case is the lawyer to Federal Government of Nigeria. So he announced his appearance, and just as also the defense counsel announced their appearance. So the defense team defending Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was led by the erudite legal luminary Chief Kanu Agabi SAN. So both parties affirmed their readiness for the business of the day, which was cross-examination of the third witness of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So the third witness who came today was shielded also. He was masked also and identified as Mr. PW3 CCC. That's what they do. The other one was AAA, the other one BBB, and now we have CCC. Okay, no problem. So Mr. CCC said he is a DSS operative and has been there for 27 years, and says he knew Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as the leader of IPOB. IPOB means Indigenous People of Biafra. For those of you who may not know, it is the organization leading the struggle for the exit of Biafra from Nigeria. Biafra is the southeast and southern regions of the current Nigeria. They want to secede from Nigeria, okay? And IPOB is championing the campaign, and the leader of the movement is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, facing illegal trial today. So let's proceed. So CCC said he knew Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in 2015. So the prosecution, that is the lawyer to federal government, said, "Can you please tell the court who you are and if you know the defendant?" So the witness said, "I work with the SSS. Sometimes they call it SSS, they call it DSS. They are confused people. I've worked for 27 years. I know the defendant. He is the leader and founder of IPOB, a terrorist organization. He founded Radio Biafra he used to invite violence to the public. For your information, IPOB is not a terrorist organization. It is a freedom organization leading the freedom of the people of Biafra from Nigeria. So it is not a terrorist organization. It's only in Nigeria that they call IPOB a terrorist organization. IPOB exists in not less than 120 countries, 120 countries, and has millions of members. And in each of these countries where they operate, they are legally registered and they are not violent, they don't cause trouble, they are a peaceful organization. It is a peaceful movement. So it is because Nigeria wants to suffocate it and suffocate its movement that they decided to call it a terrorist organization just to have reasons to begin to unalive the members at will. That is wickedness, that is injustice. So IPOB is not a terrorist organization, for your information. Let's continue. And the witness continued, that is CCC, continued by saying, my first encounter with him, that is with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, was in 2015 when I was asked to interrogate him after his arrest. Because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in 2015, the very first time he was arrested. So he said, I invited him with 3 other officers for interview. I told him his interview was going to be recorded, and he agreed. He agreed to be recorded and also wrote down a statement himself. The interview was conducted on October 21st, and written interview was on 23rd of October, both in 2015. The prosecution presented the video interview, that is the lawyer to federal government, presented the video interview and written statement of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to the witness for identification. So the witness said, okay, yeah, those are the documents, those are the information I got from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So the prosecution lawyer continued. He said, you also told the court the defendant made written statement, right? The witness said, yes, my lord. The prosecution then took permission to show the defendant the written statement obtained in 2015. So the prosecution lawyer, that is the lawyer to the federal government, then took the statement and showed to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. At this point, the lawyer to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu interjected and said, my client says the statement was written under duress. Because that's what these people do. They arrest you, take you to their dungeon, and they keep you under very inhumane conditions and force you to say and write things that are against your will, things that are not true, so they can just use it and nail you to the cross. That's what they did to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And here, they had to object it, that those statements were written under duress. So at this point, the judge then said to the defense, that is to the lawyer to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you mean the 3 statements were made under duress? So, and he continued and said, can you prove it? Otherwise, I'm going to order trial within trial. You have to prove it in specifics that your client made the statements involuntarily under duress. Subsequently, the judge asked the defendant again to give element of his involuntariness to the written statement, asked that the defendant be given a sheet of paper to write them down. So a sheet of paper was given to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu at this point to write his statement of involuntariness concerning the evidence that was tendered that he made a statement in 2015. So after writing, one of the lawyers, Chief Paul Ekuro San, read the defendant's involuntariness statement by saying, I asked for my lawyer and the DSS refused. You see, Nnamdi Kanu asked them to allow his lawyer to come before they will take statement from him. They refused. So he continues, it wasn't the gentleman in the dock that interviewed me. It was one Mr. Brown. I was in dungeon, that is the dungeon of the DSS, and was allowed 1 hour, only 1 hour of airtime. But Mr. Brown threatened that if I did not write down what they wanted, the 1 hour airtime will be taken away from me. I was forced by the DSS agent to write down some words against my will, and I was bleeding from the nose at that time, you see. So they had already started manhandling Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and then threatening him. And what do you expect at that point in time? So the judge then said to the prosecution counsel, what do you have to say about the said involuntariness? The prosecution counsel said he was not beaten to make the statements. Talking about beating only. Is it only beating that is duress? Is it only beating? He's talking about beating. And he went ahead to say, is to say to the witness, as the prosecution said to his witness, you also told the court the defendant made written statement. It came again. They will just go back to the written statement because that's where they want to carry out their injustice. And that written statement is what is under contention now because they know what they filtered into it. They infiltrated it with something. So after all said and done, he will come back. You said the defendant wrote a written statement. Oh God. Okay, so the witness CCC said, yes, my lord. And then the judge ordered trial within trial to determine whether or not the statements made by the defendant, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, was not under duress. So, for clarity's sake, a trial within trial is a legal procedure used in criminal trials, right? So in jurisdictions such as Nigeria, where a confessional statement, that is a statement made by an accused person admitting a crime, that is when an accused person makes a statement admitting a crime, right? And then turns back again to say that, no, I did not admit this crime voluntarily. Somebody forced me to admit it. And because of the condition I was in, I had to admit in order to save my life. So if the defendant says such a thing in the court, then the court has to order for trial within trial. That means trying the case of the obtaining of statement under duress to determine the authenticity or veracity of the statement or the claim before the main trial continues. Because if that is not done, it may end up that the defendant is misjudged and injustice will be administered if that happens. So if somebody says, no, this statement, I didn't make it by myself, I didn't make it willingly, so I reject it now, then a trial will be carried out to prove that case. And if the case is proven beyond all reasonable doubt that the information he gave was given under duress, then whatever evidence that comes with the report will be rendered invalid. So that is where that's where we are at this point, going by the information that came to our news desk at this point. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Nigeria for you. That is their justice system for you. And when some of us say that that place is not a country, some people just get unnecessarily angry. But what type of country is that will go to another country, kidnap somebody, bring him to their country, and sit to judge him again? That's what we are seeing in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So, ladies and gentlemen, as more updates keep filtering in, we will continue to keep you updated. But before you call it a day, please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Just hit the subscribe button Like the video and share it to your loved ones so you continue to receive wonderful updates, history analysis, and news that you can use to make good use of. Thank you very much for watching and hope to see you in our next news. Bye.